Let me ask you something. How many AI tools do you have open on your computer right now? Maybe ChatGPT, maybe Claude, maybe a few others that you've downloaded and never really used. And yet, your to-do list is still overwhelming, your content is still inconsistent, and your business still feels like it's running on your energy instead of on a system. Here's the truth. Nobody's really telling you. AI is not the problem. The way you're using it is the problem. Most people are using AI like a vending machine that they punch in a request, grab the output, and then move on. And that approach, you guys, will always produce generic, surface level results. Because AI, it doesn't think for you. AI amplifies the thinking you're already bringing to it. So, if you bring vague questions, you get vague answers. If you bring no structure, you get no structure back. But if you bring clarity, direction, and intention, AI becomes the most powerful business partner you've ever had. And that is exactly what I'm going to show you today. So in this video, I'm breaking down exactly how I use three specific tools: ChatGPT, Claude, and NotebookLM. Not as separate apps you toggle between, but as one integrated system that actually runs my business. Now, I'm talking about how I use each one, what I actually type in, and why the combination of all three is what creates the real advantage. So let's get into it. Before I show you the system, I need to show you why the average approach fails. Because if you skip this part, you guys, you'll take everything that I'm going to show you and still get mediocre results. So here's what most people do when they open an AI tool. They type in something generic like, give me content ideas, or help me to grow my business, or my personal favorite, what should I post today? And then they look at the response. They think, that's okay. Copy and paste it somewhere, and nothing really changes. Here's why that happens. When you ask AI a very vague question, you get a vague answer. And again, it's not because the tool is broken. It's because the tool is actually responding to exactly what you gave it. Think about it this way. If you hired a brand new assistant and on their first day you said, help me with my business, what are they supposed to do with that? They don't know your audience. They don't know your goals, and they don't know what you've already tried. They don't know what success actually looks like for you. So they give you something very generic, safe, and forgettable, pretty much. And AI, you guys, works the same way. The quality of your output is directly tied to the quality of your input. And that is what I call the reactive versus the directive gap. Reactive users ask AI questions and pretty much hope for good answers. Directive users tell AI exactly what role to play, what context to work with, and what restraints to respect, and what outcomes they're actually after. Now, directive users get results that sound like them, specific to their business, and are actually usable. And you guys, that's the shift. And it starts with understanding that each tool has a specific job. Now, you wouldn't use a hammer to tighten a screw. So you wouldn't use a spreadsheet to write a strategy. It's the same thing here. ChatGPT, Claude, and NotebookLM each have a very distinct function. And when you assign the right job to the right tool, everything changes. Okay, so let's start with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is your execution engine. This is where ideas become action. This is where you go when you need something built, drafted, organized, or produced. Not brainstormed and not analyzed, executed. Most people use ChatGPT as a search engine with better sentences. That is not what the tool is for, you guys. You use ChatGPT like a high-level executive assistant who already understands your business, and your job is to brief them properly before they get to work. So, let me show you what that actually looks like. So, instead of typing, "Give me content ideas," here's how a Directive user would prompt ChatGPT. "You are a content strategist for a business coach who helps entrepreneurs use AI to build and scale profitable businesses. Create a 30-day content calendar for YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. The content should include a mix of authority building topics, beginner friendly tutorials, and social proven driven results. The YouTube content should be long form and educational. The Instagram content should drive the YouTube videos and promote the lead magnet. The LinkedIn content should position the brand as a thought leader." Do you see the difference? You told ChatGPT who it is. You told it your audience. You told it what platforms you're on and what each platform's job is and what the content needs to accomplish. Now, instead of getting a generic list of topic ideas, you get a complete, organized, platform specific content system with structure, strategy, and with direction. That, you guys, is what execution looks like. Here's another way I like to use ChatGPT most people really never think about. Instead of using it to only create content, I use it to audit how I'm working. Here's a prompt. Here is a list of tasks I'm currently doing manually in my business every single week. You insert the specific task, identify which of these tasks are high value and should be only done by me, which can be automated, which can be templated, and which should eventually be delegated. Prioritize by time savings. Now, ChatGPT becomes a workflow consultant. It looks at how you're spending your time and tells you where you're leaking energy. That's not a content tool. That's a business optimization tool. ChatGPT is just not writing. It's for building, drafting, organizing, and executing. Every time you need something produced, ChatGPT is going to be your first stop. Now, let's talk about Claude. If ChatGPT is your execution engine, Claude is your thinking partner. This is the tool I go to when I need to think through something complex or when I need my positioning sharpened. Claude is built for depth, for nuance, for reasoning through problems that don't have obvious answers. So, most people build their offer pretty much by guessing. They look at what other people charge, pick a number that feels pretty much comfortable, and hope their audience thinks it's worth it. You guys, that is not a strategy. Here's how I like to use Claude to build an offer that's grounded in real value. I help, we're going to choose a specific audience, achieve specific results through a specific method. I want to build a high converting offer priced at, you input your price point. Walk me through the following steps. What is the dream outcome for my buyer is paying for? What are every single obstacle they believe is standing between them and that result? Convert each obstacle into a feature or deliverable that removes it. Then structure all of this into a clear, compelling offer with a name, price, and positioning statement. What Claude does with this prompt, you guys, is remarkable. It doesn't just give you a list of deliverables. It builds your offer from the buyer's psychology outward. It forces you to think about what your client actually fears, doubts, and believes is impossible. And then it shows you how your offer answers every single one of those objections before they ever have to ask. That is what an offer looks like in practice, not just a product with a price, but a solution to complete, so tailored, so specific, your buyer's exact situation that saying no feels irrational. Positioning, you guys, is not your niche. Positioning is the answer to the question. Why should this specific person choose me over every other option available to them? Why most people can't answer that clearly. And if you can't answer it, your audience, well, they can't answer it either. Here's the prompt. Here's what I want you to do. Who I serve and what result I deliver. You're going to insert your information. Now write 3 different positioning statements that make my brand sound completely different from every other in my niche. Each one should speak directly to a specific fear my audience has. Make them sharp, specific, and impossible to ignore. Claude will give you options you would never have thought of on your own. And then you read them. You're going to feel which one is true. And then you build everything else around it. Now I want to talk about the tool most people completely overlook, NotebookLM. Oh my gosh. NotebookLM is a learning accelerator, you guys. And in the market that moves as fast as AI and online businesses, the person who learns fastest wins. Now, here's the problem most business owners they run into. They know they need to understand their audience better. They know they need to study what's working in their market, but actually doing that, well, it takes hours. You watch videos, you read articles, you highlight things, you forget half of it by the next day. Now, NotebookLM eliminates that bottleneck, you guys. And here's how I actually use it. Let's say I'm developing a new offer or a new piece of content, and I really need to understand a specific topic or audience segment. Here's my process. I go find the best sources available on that topic. YouTube videos from experts I respect, PDF research, long form articles, my own notes from calls with clients, right? I upload all of this into NotebookLM, and then I ask, based on all of these sources, identify the top 5 pain points my audience is experiencing right now. For each pain, tell me what they say out loud, what they actually feel underneath, and what they believe is preventing them from solving it. Then tell me how a business owner could position their offer to speak directly to each one. What comes back, you guys, is not a summary, it's a synthesis. NotebookLM pulls across everything you uploaded, connects patterns you wouldn't have noticed reading each source individually, and gives you insights that are specific to what you asked for. This is a research process, you guys, that used to take days. Now it takes 20 minutes, and you can learn that fast. You can move that fast. You can speak to your audience with a level of specificity that makes them feel like you're inside their head. And that specificity is what converts. Now, here's the piece that pulls everything together because individually, these tools are powerful, but separately, they're just apps. So, what makes them a system is understanding how they connect. So, here's how the flow works in my business. Step one, I learn with NotebookLM. Before I create anything, I make sure I understand the problem I'm solving and the person I'm solving it for. NotebookLM is how I compress that learning process. Step two, I think with Claude. Once I understand the problem clearly, I bring that insight to Claude. This is where I refine my offer, sharpen my positioning, and make strategic decisions. Claude is where the thinking happens. Step three, I execute with ChatGPT. Once the strategy is clear, ChatGPT produces the output: content, copy, email sequences, launch plans, systems, documentation, you name it. Now, NotebookLM, Claude, and ChatGPT learn, think, and execute. You guys, that is the system. And what this system does is remove the three biggest time drains in any business: confusion about what to do next, uncertainty about whether your offer or content will land, and starting from scratch every single time. When you have a system, you're not reinventing the wheel, you're running a process, and processes scale. Hustle doesn't. So let me leave you with this. The questions most entrepreneurs are asking right now is, how do I do more? But that is the wrong question. The right question is, what am I doing manually that a well-built system could handle for me? Because your job as business owners is not to do everything. Your job is to make smart decisions, build systems that execute those decisions, and focus your energy on the things that only you can do. AI, when used the right way, is what makes that possible, you guys. Not because it does your thinking for you, but because it takes the thinking you're already capable of and gives it the horsepower to move faster, go deeper, and produce more. So, start with one thing. Pick one task in your business that drains your time and energy. And this week, build an AI powered process around it using the system I just showed you. That's the first step. Now, if you want to go deeper on this, I put together a free resource called Unlock Your First 20 Buyers. It walks you through how to use what you're building in your business and land your first 20 paying clients with clear, simple systems. Go ahead, grab it. The link is in the description. It's totally free. And if this video gave you clarity, drop a comment, tell me which tool you're going to start using differently this week. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.